Welcome back to Living Like a G. So Lauren did come back. She was gracious enough to be in the same outfit as well.
Yeah. I didn't even move.
Right. Didn't even change positions. We thought it'd be interesting to talk about influencer life and kind of the sacrifices that you have to make to be an influencer.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is more tailored towards Lauren than me. I'm not really at that level yet. I'm getting there, though.
But still, there's things you have to be careful about now because you know what is going to be happening in your future and how it can be used against you.
And just being in the music industry, too.
Yeah,
I mean, there's just, like, so many sacrifices you have to make. Like, we were literally talking about this in the car, which is why I even brought it up. Because, like, we were talking about how you can't say certain things to certain people. Because, like she said, at a later time, they'd be like, well, I remember when she told me she did this, and it was very, like, crappy of her to do. Like, you really have to keep your group of people, like, really, really small. Because we were even talking about, too, like, we're in songwriting sessions a lot. Like, for me specifically, it's, like, easily 3-4 times a week. Even Lauren's probably more than that at this point. Yeah. And, you know, you can't properly express certain things that are happening in your life because those people might, you know, ruin the confidentiality of the room and be like, well, she told me this about her relationship and all this stuff. Like, you have to be vague, which kind of sucks because then you can't really properly write a song with the proper, like, vulnerability emotions.
Okay, before we start going into this, I would just like to state, this is, like, the one comment I get anytime I start naming a con about my job. They're like, but all the amazing things about your job and, like, just completely everyone just invalidates you. So if you're not an influencer, don't think that we don't love our jobs. We would not give up our jobs for any other job. We love what we do.
There's cons to everything that you do in life. There's cons
to every job, and it's just
we're not being ungrateful.
Yeah, we're not being ungrateful. We love our jobs. We're super grateful, but there are definitely some things that people don't recognize that you have to think about in this specific career.
Yeah. You have to be very, very private.
Very, very private. Like, even the people that you think you've been friends with for 5 years could go back in your texts and screenshot something mean you said to someone.
Mm-hmm. And then blast it on the internet just because they're pressed about something you did, may or may not did.
Yeah.
I mean,
or because an interviewer ran up to them and offered them $20K to expose you. Like, the craziest...
Watch out,
so,
Lord.
Yeah. List of people I can't trust. Geena.
Right. We were playing this game the other day, and somebody wrote, it was like, who cannot be trusted? And my answer was, a hoe. Great response, right? The other person wrote Geena Fontanella, and I was like, why is it a hoe and Geena Fontanella are the two answers? No. I am a very trustworthy person.
Yeah.
Very trustworthy.
I believe it. But
I believe it.
Yeah. But at the same time, like, think of all the people in your life that you were like, I was friends with that person for 8 years, and then all of a sudden, something just happened, and you went sideways, and you're like, I'm not really good with that person anymore. Think of all the things you told them that if you were a celebrity, they could completely out to other people. And not even out publicly necessarily, but the more and more I hang out in LA and I hang out with different influencers, the more I realize all my friends know each other. Like, if I'm talking crap about Geena and then I go hang out with somebody over here, this other person might be like, oh, I remember when Lauren was talking crap about Geena, though. Like, I'm kind of friends with Geena. I don't want to be friends with Lauren because someone told me she said something about Geena. Like, you just have to literally watch what you say about everyone at all times.
I mean, being a gossip Gabby is never
a good thing.
Never a
in
good
life,
thing ever. Because, like, what you don't realize is, people do love the tea and they do love the drama, but they also know that you're a gossip.
If you're the kind of person that's
they're not
saying
gonna,
it, you're probably not the kind of person that can be trusted.
They're not going to trust you to do anything. The other thing that was, like, kind of sucks as well is, like, we were talking about this of, like, you tend to, when you're in the music industry or an influencer, you tend to be saying the same things over and over again. Yeah. And it gets exhausting. Exhausting. Like, I get home at the end of the day. Like, we even talked about this. I get home at the end of the day, even the ride onto home, I don't want to listen to any music.
Sound. People,
No
nothing.
sound.
Literally
I don't want to
zero
hear anybody
noise.
talk. I don't want to hear any music. I don't even want to hear like a peep. I literally half the time on my drive home from LA, which like right now I live outside the city, so it's like an hour plus drive home, and
Silence
for a straight hour, like a psychopath, like straight up.
No, like
serial killer
literally,
level of silence.
Literally, like you would think we were psychopaths. Like we're just staring at the road in silence.
It's just like just imagine like in your ear all day, every day, 14 hours out of your 16 hours of your awake. It's just hey, thank
Guitars,
you. Yeah,
like
just like.
And it's
ring.
like there's just it's a lot. And it's just you're always on the clock.
Yes.
Because even when you think you're having a break, it's not a thing at the level of influencer I'm at to just take a social media break.
Oh no.
Like if I really, 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 really wanted to, I could.
I have really wanted to.
But will I lose engagement? Yeah. Will I lose some followers? Probably. Like my whole life evolves around numbers, and the numbers equal money and success for me. And so the second I wake up in the morning, I open my phone, I got to respond to comments. I got to keep people engaged. I got to make sure I'm boosting myself in the algorithm again. Like you're just constantly on the clock and constantly grinding and
communicating with people.
It's
like I get like I'm not even at Lauren's level, and again, we're going back to I'm so grateful that everybody comments on my things. This has nothing to do with anything.
Keep commenting. We want the comments. Keep commenting. We love you guys.
But imagine you've commented to 250 people in a day.
In a row.
Like all at one time.
Literally, I went back because I just released a song for Granted. Plug.
Yeah. Streamline song.
And I literally was on the treadmill and I was just going down the viral video and responding to every comment being like, it's out, it's out, it's out, it's out.
Right.
And it's like for 30 minutes straight, that was all I did. The same thing. Copy and paste.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm responding to each one and I'm grateful for each one. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't believe this person wants to download it. But it's not like for each one, it's a unique compliment. It's just people over and over asking the same thing. When is the song out?
Yeah.
And so I'm responding to the same thing. It's out right now.
Yeah, right.
Go straight.
It's like you're stuck in, it's like there's a glitch in the Matrix or something
Literally.
like that. Like, or it's like Groundhog Day. It's like you finish and then the next day, you're doing the same thing, responding to the same like comment, same response, same everything. And I mean, even beyond that, like just on like a sacrifice level of like what you have to sacrifice, like Lauren and I are constantly sacrificing spending time with our family, spending time with our friends, like all these different things because we're in a session or we had to travel to who knows where to play a show. Like for me this weekend, like Lauren's been with me for 2 weeks and I'm like, and I just had come from Miami. I'm exhausted. I don't want to do anything, right? Like, I just want to kick it. I honestly even be alone. Like, don't even want to like be around anybody that I truly love and care about. Like, none of that. But I have to, once Lauren leaves, the next day I fly to Arizona and play a show in Arizona or like Arizona versus USC. Do I love that? Absolutely. That's what I live for. But also I am so mentally exhausted. Yeah. And then the next day I fly, it's literally like a less than 24-hour thing. I fly in Friday, play the show that night, and then fly back Saturday morning and then have the rest of Saturday to do whatever I need to, which is usually catch up on stuff. But then Sunday I lead worship at church.
Yeah.
It's just like, you know what I mean? And then I get done with that. And like, do you like, imagine the most exhausted you've ever been. Like, do you want to spend time with somebody, even if it's like your kids? You're like, nope.
No,
like,
literally.
You're like, absolutely not. I don't even want to see your mugs.
Like honestly, if anyone that's in my family or friends is like watching this video right now and I make time in my singer life schedule to message you.
You're important to me.
You're very important to me because literally, I'm the type of person, when I was home, I group FaceTime my friends every single night, like my best friends, every single night, every single day. I'm the type of person who checks in. I'm like, how are you? How are you doing? I will literally go an entire week straight of not talking to my favorite people in the entire world because I am that busy. Yeah. And I get home at 2 a.m. I can't FaceTime at 2 a.m. I got to be back up at like 7. I need to sleep. Then I've heard sound all day. Like, I don't even want to talk to people, even if I wanted to. And I don't talk to some of my favorite people, and I'm constantly sacrificing relationships, family time, mental health, physical health. If you can't hear me, I'm sick right now. Yeah, it's completely because I don't get enough sleep.
She's like, Geena, why are you making me do these videos?
Yeah, I'm like,
Someone was like, ugh, that's not the ASMR I was looking for.
Hey, appreciate it.
No, we really do. Like, we really have to sacrifice a lot of the things that we would love to do in life. Like, I was literally just thinking about this the other day. We were at my cousin's house for Halloween, and where he lives, they do like a crazy Halloween thing for like the whole 3 blocks of their neighborhood. Thousands of people come up. It's like a really big thing. And, but when it was done, he kicked it and watched TV and got to watch like TV and hang out with his other cousin was there from Texas. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm doing this right now, but like, I actually think he does this every night.
Every night.
He's a pastor. So like our church is also like a school. So from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., he might be busy. After 5 p.m.,
literally kicks it with his kids and hangs out.
Hangs out, maybe watches something on TV, watches a football game. Bro, like, I love sports. I never get to watch sports.
I remember the last time I sat down. I came home at 5 p.m. and sat down and just watched TV after work.
No. The only time I get to watch TV is right before I go to bed. And honestly, I don't even get to watch it because it literally within 10 minutes of watching it, I'm like, I'm like, just knocked.
No, same.
Totally knocked.
Same. It's like people take for granted being in one place and being in a schedule. Like, I love working out and I love going to the gym. And when I'm at home and I was working at like an old folks home, I would work 9 to 5. I would get up before work and I would go to the gym at like 6 a.m., work out till 8, shower, get ready, go to work, come home at 5, eat dinner, watch Netflix. That was like my routine. That was my daily life. I had time if I wanted to have a boyfriend, if I wanted to hang out with friends, I go hang out with friends after work instead, grab a dinner, do all this kind of stuff. It's like, I'm in a schedule. This is my life. This is one place. Whereas we're in the kind of job where like, you're going all over the place. Like, there's not a gym that you're going to every single day. You gotta find a random gym.
Pay a membership for like a month.
Membership for like however many days you're going to be there. Right. You're going at completely different times every single day. You're just going whenever you can fit it into the schedule.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not at a specific time.
No.
Like, you can't be in a routine. The relaxing. Like, the fun part about our job is that work doesn't feel like work sometimes. It feels like fun. Like, a lot of our job is honestly just networking and building.
We're doing what we love, which is great.
Building connections. Like, half of our job is just us, like, singing in a room with some people. And sometimes you're singing a song and there's like 5-part harmonies and you're like, this is fire. So dope. Like, I love singing in groups of people. So it's like, it's fortunate that it's not like we're sitting having to fill out tax returns all day. Like, that would be awful. Yeah. But still.
Unless that's what you do and you love it, then that's great.
We love that for you. Kind of.
Can you do our taxes? Thank you.
But it definitely still takes the mental strain, and you don't get home till 2 a.m. and you don't get to have that relaxation, regular life.
Yeah. I always feel like it's really hard to like build meaningful relationships with people. Like, the meaningful relationships in my life that I have came from a period of time that was not right now.
Yeah, same.
So it came from, you're in my family, we grew up together, we went to high school together. Like, those are the relationships that I find are the most meaningful in my life because they've been around since the beginning. And I built a rapport with them earlier on. But now in my life, it's really difficult, especially too, because with influencer life, you really don't know who's real, who's not. Like, it's just hard to decide. And when you become influencer
friends, like, there's some people I could list off. I'm like, this is a pretty good friend of mine, but they're an influencer friend. Like, you have to actually hang out with them for like a long period of time. One, to even start telling them stuff about your life, because you need to know you can trust this person, at least partially. Yeah. And then 2, you like never know when you've crossed the barrier of, are we influencer friends or are we just friends now? Yeah. And so like that, honesty in itself probably takes like at least a year.
Yeah. Oh.
And whereas like in regular life,
more than that.
In regular life, you go to university, you hang out, you have classes with someone, you study with them for 3 weeks straight, and that person's already your best friend.
Right.
And 3 months later, you're like, this is literally my new bestie. And like, that's not how our life can work. It's just not. It takes a really long time to get to know people.
Yeah. And again, I can't stress this enough. We love
our job.
Yeah, we love what we do.
We literally, our job is amazing.
We do, but I think this is a little bit like behind the curtain of seeing like, nobody has a perfect anything. Like, not a single person. Like, if you're a mom, you don't have a perfect life. You know what I mean? There's always cons.
Like our job can be very invalidating. Like, I feel like if you were to say, I'm an accountant, instantly you're like, that person deals with numbers a lot. That person, like, you're like, they make probably like decent money, but you're like, they got to sit at a chair all day. Like, you already know what the cons of that job is. Our job is the one job where everybody in the public, everything looks perfect and everybody thinks it's perfect, and nobody knows the negatives, nobody knows the cons, and nobody validates that for anyone. They're just like, what do you mean? Money buys happiness. She has 30 million. And I'm like, that person works their butt off and gets 2 hours of sleep and has horrible mental health and hates their life, and 20 million people a day tell them that they're overweight and they have an eating disorder. Like, I'm like, I think they would rather have the 9-to-5 job at this moment in time in their life. Like, there's just so much behind the scenes people don't realize. So I like letting people know about this kind of stuff. Yeah,
there's just a lot of things behind it that you're like, again, like, when you're taking care of yourself, how to take care of yourself is somewhat has some structure to it. And it's really difficult to find structure in the career that we've chosen. Like, even when I was on tour, like, I had to learn on tour, like, my second tour out, I was like so exhausted, and I was like, why am I so exhausted? This is what I love to do. Like, am I just not cut out for this? Like, is that the reasoning? And then I realized that what actually was happening was I didn't have like a set, like, I didn't have something that was a consistent schedule to get me started. So, like, I would wake up, and I'm waking up at different times every day because it depends on when did my show end. Did my show end at 10 p.m. or did my show end at 3 a.m.? If it ended at 3 a.m., I'm not waking up till noon. If it ended at 10 p.m., I might be waking up at 7:38. So, like, it's different. But I had to find, like, okay, no matter what time I wake up, I have to do these 3 things in the morning that, like, made me feel somewhat normal and having a consistent schedule, even though it wasn't consistent. And then I also learned I would get done with a show and I would be around people all day, like, you're not putting on a fake smile, but you're like having to act so energized even when you're not energized. You know what I'm saying? It's like almost like, this is a bad example, but it's almost like if somebody passed away in your family and you were hosting the funeral and you have to act like, thank you so much for coming. Really, thank you for bringing food. You have to act so nice when really you're just like, I'm so tired and exhausted. Well, because,
like,
you know
honestly,
what I'm saying?
Put
it's
it
like
into
that.
perspective. Imagine if you met your favorite celebrity and you were like, oh my goodness, like, you're Justin Bieber. Like, I love you. Like, I can't believe I met you. And he was like, I'm so tired today. Like, I just can't do this conversation. You'll be like, I met Justin Bieber. He didn't like me. So it's like when anyone comes up to you,
you'll be like,
you obviously have to be in a good mood, and that's the kind of people we are, but everyone has their bad days and everyone gets worn out. Yeah. Sometimes you just
And also imagine that happening like 30 times in one day.
Yeah, in a row.
Yeah. Like, literally, sometimes after a show, I will have 30 people come up to me and say the same exact thing.
Same with, like, meet and greets. Like, literally the same thing is said to you over and over, repeated for, like, 45 minutes.
And then you're just like, thank
over
you.
And over,
thank you for coming. I really appreciate it. Like, but imagine, like, you're saying that over and over again, and then you're like, but you're wanting to be genuine. Like, I don't want it to ever not be genuine, but there are days where I'm so exhausted that, like, I'm really just putting on a front. Because I am thankful. The reason why I put on the front is because I am thankful. Because you want
people to know you are grateful.
I am grateful, but I also am exhausted.
Yes.
So anyways, that's like just a little bit of the sacrifices. I honestly think we could think of like so many more. Probably. There's so much more, especially in the health aspect. That's the amount we'll give right now because I don't really like these going too long. And honestly, we don't want to make it seem like we're not like grateful.
No,
because we
love
really
our job.
do love all of you guys.
I'm gonna name like 3 things that I love about my job right now.
Comment as many wonderful things on our page. We love it. We genuinely do. We're so grateful for all of you guys and like following us and like just gassing us up and all of that stuff. We're so grateful. So we'll end it on that.
Yeah, literally, I'm like self-conscious as heck. So all of your guys' comments about how I'm like pretty and stuff.
Woo!
Literally are keeping me above the level of like depressed.
Right.
So continue to do it. Love you guys.
Love you guys. See you next week. Peace.